Hooligan's pitch is still a thing. We're still here. We are back after a unplanned break.
We got busy. It happened.
Got busy. Life gets in the way.
Hey, Chad.
We don't get paid for this, so that's how it goes.
I guess before our last episode, we saw each other in person. We had our own in-person Hooligans pitch over dinner, which was lovely. It's good to be home. It's not often I think you and I have back-to-back weekends where we're both away, and so that that happens. It's unfortunate. It's at the end of the season here when the hype is getting close to its peak. I mean, we're coming down to the final weekend. We don't know who's going to win it yet, and that's the best type of season you want. I haven't shown my face since Liverpool has kind of been down and out, so apologies. I promise I didn't give up on y'all just because my team gave up. It's a bummer. Officially eliminated from the title. It would have been wild if Arsenal and City dropped points this weekend and just maybe gave us
open the door a little bit.
That would have been crazy, dude. Crazy. But that's okay. That's okay. But we got a lot to talk about. We have some catching up to do. A lot of drama. Especially in the refereeing world. Surprise. But I'm gonna get started with my drink here. We're doing a sparkling Waterloo watermelon. Very good. If you haven't had one of these before.
I have not.
It's definitely up there for my favorite. I am hydrating. I have my water next to me too because
smart.
Been one of those weekends.
Well, look, recording on Mother's Day. I've been gifted the opportunity of cooking dinner tonight. So
shit. Congrats.
Preparing with some wine to calm the nerves.
What are we cooking?
I'm doing a Parmesan crusted chicken over spaghetti with a creamy lemon sauce.
Hello. Mm-hmm. Dude, I'll be your mom if you want to make me that.
So, roll through. I got plenty.
Now, are you like the head chef? Any sous chef involved? Or are you just kicking everyone out?
We're gonna see how it goes. I think I'm probably gonna just mainly be on my own. I think my brother's just doing some garlic bread.
Okay.
Dad's probably hanging out because he would normally be doing the cooking. So
right on. Cool.
Yeah. So see how it goes. I'll be relieved after this. Our little therapy session.
Yeah.
Going clear head, ready to cook.
Make sure you post in Michael's kitchen. I want to see what you're making.
Yeah. I'll throw it up in there.
Well, Chad, the last time we spoke, Liverpool went through some more refereeing drama. We can just, touch on this a little bit. I think there's a couple of different things we need to talk about with Liverpool being out of the title race. 99% sure we have a new coach in Arne Slot. And he's just the coach. That's kind of the rumor. He's not going to be making any of the decisions of who comes in and who comes out. I don't know if you read that. That seems to be the plan. That's kind of a new thing. Not a lot of coaches do that, or managers, I should say. So for him to just be purely a coach and he has no say, which is hard to believe that he has no say in who's coming in or out. I'm curious to see what that's like. But he hasn't officially said he's with Liverpool. He did have a big old smile on his face when someone asked, "Are you going to be the Liverpool coach?" And he said, "No disrespect to my current team, but I will not say that at this time." Which again, totally fair. I understand that. But let's just talk about that West Ham game really quick. 2 key points of drama. We'll start with the Gakpo decision on this drop ball. Not even a drop ball situation. Just an Areola dropped the ball in front of his feet, and Gakpo pounces on it. Whistle blows right as he's getting to that ball, and I wish he would have stuck it in the back of the net because
should have,
all hell would have broke loose. One of the weirder officiating decisions we've seen this year.
Yeah. I kind of put it up there with what Gabrielle passing it to Raya and Raya picking it up, or the opposite actually. Raya passing it to Gabrielle, and then the ref came out later and said he didn't want to make a call for a schoolboy error basically, and it's but it happened, right? So you should probably call it, but it feels like that same sort of situation where, Areola clearly thinks a foul was called somewhere before that, and then is taking his time, checking his socks, whatever. But as far as we have all seen and heard since, like, there was no actual foul called.
There's nothing.
So yeah, I don't know why it was called back like that necessarily. Like,
It makes no sense. It's like Anthony Taylor thought he called the foul, didn't, and then realized it as Gakpo was approaching. He went, "Oh, I didn't blow my whistle. I meant to."
Yeah,
and then he blew it. Right?
Yeah,
that's what it seems like.
That's what it seems like. Yeah, where he didn't want to, let Ariel take the fall for like such a big mistake, basically. But like, that's just part of the game, right? You got to stay focused the full 90. And, even if you think back to, Liverpool versus Barcelona, where like they hit him on that quick corner where Barcelona's not ready. Like, if the ref calls that back.
Could you imagine?
Yeah, exactly. So like, not the same, big moment as that was, but it's like in that same realm of just like the other player has just checked out momentarily. They think they're in this safe space, but the game is live. It's up for grabs, up to play, and
that's what Liverpool's best at. They're best at doing that.
If Gakpo would have put that in, it would have like broken VAR. I think,
imagine?
And just
to hear what they would have said over the mic, just. I don't know. That's probably what they would have said. Exactly what you just did. Because how do you fix that? There's no whistle.
I think if it went to VAR, had Gakpo, scored it, I feel like the goal probably stands, right? Like, otherwise, I guess Taylor could argue that he called a foul or whatever, but then I don't know.
I don't know what you do there.
You can dig into the audio and everything and try and extract what actually happened, but yeah, just a weird situation. Not one painting Taylor in any better light, so
no,
didn't help his resume.
It'll be why. I mean, I know we've had so many mistakes from him this year, but it's at what point will he be held accountable for making these? Yeah. Random decisions that, I mean, take 2 points. He essentially took 2 points away from Liverpool in that moment. Mm-hmm. He's taken 2 points away from Liverpool against City, Tottenham. And I was looking at that. I was like, okay, that's 6 points right there, technically. Mm-hmm. Even more so because we lost to Tottenham. If we regain those points there, we're top of the table. And it's just like, those are just the 3 games. And I'm sure that, you can say that about a lot of teams, but those are just 3 key mistakes that we all know. Every Premier League fan knows exactly what happened in those 3 instances. I feel like City doesn't really have anything like that this season. No offense, Arsenal's never really had anything like that this season, where it's just like clear and obvious of like, holy crap, like that was a terrible mistake. Now it's detrimenting their title. Can't say for Villa, can't say for really anyone else outside of top 4. But damn, man, just another like crushing blow to Liverpool in that moment.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing is like you can take the games where your team doesn't play well and just it just doesn't happen on the day, but when it is coming down to these just ludicrous reffing decisions, it's so hard to take because it's out of your control. Like, it's what can you do in that situation? Like, maybe you go on and win the game, maybe you don't, but like, it's such a key moment to be fumbled by, an experienced ref who has a video assistant on his back to help further get the right call, and it still somehow comes out completely just a shit show.
Total shit show. Totally. Yeah, that was rough. And shortly after that, Klopp called in his subs. Mm-hmm. Wanted Salah to go in. Salah's not happy because he didn't start, and Salah hasn't been playing that great either. He's been making some really good passes, but at the same time, he hasn't been his scoring self. He's been very different from the beginning of the season towards the end of the season. So I do understand why Klopp maybe didn't start him, and then I also understand Salah's position of saying like, hey, now you're asking me to come in here with 15 minutes left and do all of this work that I could have maybe done at the start of the game. The hug, Salah didn't hug him. That made Klopp mad. I understand both sides of it, but that was like the first time no player has really hugged Klopp. And we've seen like Nunez too. When Nunez has been on the bench for a majority of the season, coming off or starting, whatever, he's openly said, I'll do whatever it takes to help this team win. It's like, I kind of wish Salah had that same mentality. Like, I understand you've been one of the probably best Liverpool players ever, but there are times when you got to take a back seat and like reposition yourself and maybe understand where the coach is coming from, because the coach, you can't fight back on the coach as much as you want to. He's still the guy in charge until you're the coach, basically.
Sure,
so
yeah.
I don't know. That was a bit frustrating to see. It made me definitely say, "Uh-oh!" Like, I hope this doesn't hurt the end of the season here, because we have to look at the season, I think, as a success still. If you flip our schedule right now and you take our last 6 games and call that the start of our season and look how our season went, you'd be like, damn, Liverpool has almost 80 points. They started out so poor and went on this huge win streak. They'd be like, that's a crazy, crazy season. It just went the opposite way. And that's it sucks that we got so close, and almost 5 weeks out is kind of when we dropped our title chance, and then officially dropped the second to last week. That's crazy, man. That's pretty crazy.
I think it's still a good season. Maybe not as successful as everyone was hoping, but I think even just coming off of last season where it was looking even worse, and to be able to like flip it just in the next season, and all right, you're already back challenging for the title. Like, last season was this weird blip.
Yep.
There's all these other factors going on, and then this season is looking promising, but then you do have this Klopp announcement that he's leaving at the end kind of happen, which I don't think was a bad decision, but
it added pressure.
Certainly added some pressure, and is a big talking point that's always hanging over the club throughout this season now. There's probably frustration in the team and the back room and stuff of like coming so close and kind of fumbling at a few moments. And I think that's partly where Salah's frustration is that, he's played a different game this season. Still scoring some important goals, but also creating a lot. And, he's an elite athlete. He wants to be out there playing, contributing. So I get that, but like at the same time, I think it's when you're out there in front of everyone, it's got to be, the professional, like, even if we're not getting along, we're hugging, we're shaking hands, whatever. And then we can like dish it out of sight of cameras and fans.
For sure. It could have been handled so much better, and maybe from both sides, because Klopp definitely didn't let it go. He did not let it go.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't have been a story even, I think, if Klopp just let it go.
Yeah, that's probably true. It's I think it would have got the few retweets of when it initially happened, but beyond that, I think it would have got brushed under the rug pretty quickly. But I think that maybe says something about where Klopp is too. Like, he's very close to the end of his time at Liverpool, and I don't know if you saw his most recent pre-match press conference, but he apparently showed up late and was like, doesn't really matter anymore. Who gives a shit? Like, so he's enjoying his time at least. So I think it's great. It'd be nicer if this was ending with a bigger success, I guess, for Liverpool, but I'm glad he's at least enjoying his final few weeks in charge.
Seeing how much City spent not too long ago, seeing how if 4 games would have went differently, he would have won the Premier League 2 more times. Like, it's so many little things. So he'll still be a Liverpool legend, and we still I hope he doesn't get banned tomorrow for the final home game. That's goals now.
So here's my thoughts on that. I would like him to not get banned so he can just finish out, on the sideline coaching as he should. But if he does, don't throw him up there in the expensive seats. Throw him over there with the fans. Like, get him in there. Like, that would be it like as much as a title would have been an incredible send off, like having Klopp in the Kop with the fans as for his final game would be, I think, just as like an emotional high to leave on. So
that'd be super cool, dude.
Yeah, like I don't want him to get banned because it's not exactly the way to go. But if he does, I hope they go that route.
And then when we score, they all go run over there and celebrate like as
right?
he was a fan. Like, all right, that would be pretty sweet. That's almost not better than a title, but that's a really cool second.
Exactly. So it'd be a nice moment, a nice little final thank you for your service sort of thing.
Pep would never.
No.
So, all right. Shortly after Liverpool drew to West Ham, we smashed the Spurs. So that brought me back up a little more, saying, okay, we're not that bad. And then rumor has it, Kudus, we're looking at him pretty hard right now.
Oh yeah,
pretty hard. The rumor is we're gonna trigger his 85 million release clause.
I feel like that's not a bad deal.
24?
Considering some of the prices, like I mean, just look at Antony. Like
more than that.
So like, it's a lot of money for somewhat unproven player, but the games he's turned up in, he's looked great. The games he's turned up in and West Ham have not turned up in, he still looks pretty good, and you can see how much he can contribute to the team, and I think he's enjoying his play time at West Ham, but I think probably like Paqueta is quickly outgrowing West Ham.
I think West Ham's going to do a fire sale.
I mean, not a bad time to do it. David Moyes leaving. Mm-hmm. Yeah, get a little rebuild going. You got you got a lot of older guys out there. It'll be interesting to see what they do. I think between Paqueta, Kudus, Bowen, like those three, I think could be big sales. You're gonna need some good signings to fill those holes, but what's a better time to do it than when you're already transitioning managers and
Yep.
Yeah.
And James Ward-Prowse, someone will want him. Mm-hmm. Souček's gonna be 30, someone will want him. Kufal, he's 31. Like Zuma is gonna be 30. There's a lot of guys in that 30 range that I could see going to either the newly promoted teams coming up. Mm-hmm. I think we're going to see the likes of Leicester. And did anyone else get confirmed up? Is it Ipswich or Norwich?
Ipswich, yeah.
It's Ipswich. I don't know much about them right now, but, when Leicester comes up, it will not shock me if they stay up and do pretty well.
Yeah, I think so. Because, I mean, just thinking back to the season they got relegated, they made like basically no transfers the entire year. And Brendan Rodgers was on this weird, like, not playing his best team mode.
It was sabotage. It was like open sabotage.
Yeah. So, I wouldn't be surprised to see them do well. And probably grab some of those, either free transfers of older guys or, get them out for pretty cheap.
Mm-hmm.
And there's, I think a chance that Southampton comes back up. So maybe James Ward-Prowse just says, see you later. I'm going back home.
It would not shock me at all. Right? Go captain your club that just loaned you for a year.
Yeah.
Yeah. It would be something. I think Championship is in the playoffs right now too.
Yeah, they are.
Today?
Yeah, it was today.
Oh, they all drew.
Yeah.
Wow.
So who's to say which way it goes at this point, but I don't know.
Fun matchups.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, you want to talk some Arsenal here? Because you guys are still alive and
still alive.
Boy,
still
get it done.
I mean, Arsenal's just doing what they need to do. Keep the pressure on City. Get the wins. Had some key people come back from injury and get back into the team, which I think this is probably the team Arteta wanted to roll with all season. Mm-hmm. So at least he's finally getting it towards the end. Today's match against United, like I'd say it was a pretty calm performance from Arsenal. I don't know if it was the most comfortable or controlling, but really, Arsenal got the Trossard goal and kind of was chilling with that. Like tried a few other times to get a goal, but United was just already a weakened team without Bruno out there, and Rashford, I guess, as well. But their back line was still made up of Casemiro and Johnny Evans, which I feel like Arsenal should have tried to exploit that more.
Yeah,
but
I mean, if Palace can, you can too.
I know, right? That's what I was thinking. But I mean, really, United's own real threat was Garnacho, and Ben White, for the most part, did pretty well against him. Had some good support too, and yeah, there's never in a moment where I was scared, but as it gets later and it's a 1-goal margin, it just gets a little bit more stressful.
I thought from the 85th minute on, it was a couple moments of just oh my god, please. It was a very weak attack that Man United was throwing at you, but it's just don't drop the ball. Every ball went to exactly. Just don't drop it.
It had to be, no little dumb mistakes, no fumbled passes in the back there, so. I'd say calm. They didn't look too stressed out there, but just not as comfortable as a viewing for me as I would have preferred.
we were driving home for that first half, so we were just listening to it. And again, sounded pretty easy that first half. Even the second half, it looked easy, but it was just for me. It was the last couple of minutes. Oh boy, just get it going. But what happened to Saka? I missed. When he got taken off, I know did he crash into a board and that?
So I mean, Old Trafford, has the pitch, and then it's a couple feet, and then pretty steep decline for whatever reason. So the ball was down right there at the end line, and he ran past, I think Dallo it was, and is trying to get back on the ball to cross it in, and ball gets smothered out pretty quickly, so he hops over to avoid some people, and then you're on that decline, and I think just kind of rolls into the advertising board. I didn't really see a good view of it, but I think it's probably just more of a knock than a actual injury. So nothing too big to worry about. Jesus, I think, can do a fine job there if it comes down to it. It's one more game. It's in home against Everton. It should be a pretty smooth sailing. I don't know. Arsenal's looked good. I thought the Bournemouth game might be a trap just because Bournemouth had been playing well, and the home game against Bournemouth last season was already a weird, shitty first half, and then heroics right at the very last second.
Was that the Reece game? Was that Reece Nelson?
Yeah. Yeah. So I was a little bit nervous of that coming back to haunt, but luckily it didn't. North London derby, those games are always so hard. Any derby game, it's form is out the window, right? It's just rivals going at each other, and I think Arsenal, I'd say, gifted Tottenham both of their goals in that. Raya had a weird moment of, I think, indecision, and then ends up with the pass to, of course, a Tottenham player. But, I'd say Tottenham's most threatening player in that was Romero.
What the hell was he doing up there?
That's what I'm saying. He was the threat.
That's what caused Raya to be what the?
Yeah. So maybe Ainge saw that and was like, you just keep going forward. No one else is doing anything. It became a nervier finish than it needed to be, certainly. But cruised through that for the most part. And then, the Chelsea game before that was just
smashing.
Done. Smash and grab, boom, done. So feeling good. Unfortunately, we're relying on Tottenham to do something now against City on Tuesday.
And West Ham, right? Don't count out West Ham.
Yeah, don't count on West Ham, but they aren't as fierce as they were at the start of the season, so I don't have much hope.
To be fair, though, the team they threw out against Luton this last week was probably their strongest squad they have. And that squad hasn't really been out there a whole lot together. Mikel Antonio, I think, is probably done with this team. Mm-hmm. Maybe in Premier League entirely. He's 34, and I do think that's their weakest point. But, dude, you could throw Kudus up there, see what happens. See what happens if you throw him up top.
That's kind of what I'm saying is like.
Or play false nine.
I think we saw Kudus up top a couple times before Antonio came back. I think he can do a decent job there. Like I liked him up there more than Bowen because I think Bowen runs that wing so well and his dribbling's good enough to. I mean, Kudus' dribbling is probably better, but so good. Bowen has that knack to just like make the right run and find himself in the right position. But then Kudus I think has the pace and control and dribbling that it'd probably be more of a false nine than an out-and-out striker, but probably a better option than throwing Antonio up there.
At this rate, if they really want to beat City, so this is the problem though. They could give him they could give Antonio a send-off, right? But at the same time, but if you can beat City, the whole league, I don't know about the whole league. A majority of the league will be thrilled, and I just feel like I don't know, you could end your season on a high if you take down what could have been the champion.
It's true. I mean, you could have a massive effect on the whole season on the last day, right? So it's that's one of those like unofficial trophies,
right? Like it's QPR for City 10 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, we up until the last couple of weeks, everyone was saying Tottenham was going to decide the winner because they played, Liverpool, Arsenal, and City, and they fumbled two of those already.
They're so bad.
And I don't hold out too much hope for City or against City. But Tottenham's got that weird juju against City at home, and City still has not scored in Tottenham's new stadium. So I don't know. There's a chance, I guess, but like
I think Ainge is pretty pissed off right now too. In his last interview,
fair.
I think it was after the Liverpool game. I don't think it was the Burnley one, but he was. It had to have been after Liverpool. A reporter asked him if he's given up on the season, and he just looked at him. And he goes, "What?" He's like, "What type?" He's like, "What type of question is that?" Yeah. And so they squeaked by Burnley. They truly did. I was like, wow, they might not even get this win. I could see Ainge coming out and be like, look, like I understand Arsenal could win the title, but like this is what players on Tottenham really care about Arsenal winning the title versus City, right? Yeah. Probably not a ton. It's more so the fans that are making more noise there, but Tottenham could really, Tottenham and West Ham have a chance to dethrone City and start a new era of champions.
And Tottenham is like, they're right on the edge of getting back into Champions League, so they have a lot to play for. Basically, we need Liverpool to beat Villa on Monday. Mm-hmm. That opens the door for Tottenham. Yeah, if they can get the win against City, then it goes to the final day to see who gets Champions League. So it's they've been in some rough form. Some of that I think down to just them not wanting to mess with set pieces, but that's their coaching. I don't know. But like they got this opportunity still to fight for something where West Ham is they're safe, comfortable. David Moyes leaving, if they're up for it the last day, I would appreciate it, but I wouldn't be surprised if they're just out there like running the celebration lap sort of thing. Like, whereas Tottenham has that. They have a good record against City for whatever reason anyway. Mm-hmm. So if anyone's going to do it, I think it is them. It's hard to get behind them right now. Like, earlier in the season, they were playing better. I would feel more comfortable with them in this situation. But in past weeks, everything's kind of gone flat for them, I think. And I don't know, Ainge just gotta spur them on, right? Because the gap between Europa and Champions League is minimal, but the pay that the club can get from that is substantial.
Yeah.
And if they want to keep building with him and refresh the spots in the squad they need to, you're gonna want the extra money. So I hate having to rely on Tottenham for anything.
It's a place where none of us want to be. I get it. Well, again, out of your hands. Just keep doing what you're doing. Keep getting those 3 points.
I mean, and that's the thing is, like, however this season ends, like, Arsenal's done, I'd say, better than last season. There's small blips here and there, but it wasn't a full breakdown towards the end of the season. They got further in Champions League than they have in a long time.
Most Premier League wins ever.
Yeah,
27.
Yeah. I think most goals scored as well for Arsenal ever. So things are moving in the right direction. That's all you can really ask for, and then everything on top of that is nice little surplus. But yeah, if not this season, you just make some signings you need to make in the summer and try again next year. But it's Liverpool's been there. You're running to the end with City, and it could go either way. It's just unfortunately, City has a little bit nicer of the run-in compared to the other teams. But
damn it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll know in 1 week, which is crazy. 1 week.
Right around the corner.
Holy moly. So, I watched the Luton game and saw a lot of their fans and players getting emotional. And, with Forest achieving any point essentially makes them safe. But can you explain to me what's leaving the door open right now for Luton to not be relegated? I understand they'd have to win to get even on points, but wouldn't it still come down to goal differential again?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Why people really think they're going to score 11 goals? And
I don't think
you just can't officially say it.
Yeah, I think people maybe don't realize the goal differential gap. But then, I think for Premier League, like, they officially can't say, because,
It was more the commentators. They were like, if Forrest gets anything, it leaves the door open. And I was like, that's a tiny, tiny door. Like, really, like, come on, 11?
Yeah. I mean, they're all but relegated. They just, I think commentators and Premier League don't want to officially say it because technically there's a chance they could get through, but I mean, come on.
If you're Fulham though, and you're looking at next year, would you rather have Luton in the Premier League or Forest?
Luton or Forest? I mean, I'd probably take Forest.
Yeah.
Me personally, I'd rather see Luton because I think they're more fun to watch.
Wouldn't that be some crazy stuff if Fulham's like, score all you want? Never seen it before. People would call for corruption, but at the same time, it could be strategic. I don't know. That's a wild one. That's that's a very hot take that no team has probably ever done before.
Hey, it's last day. You already booked your summer vacation. You're thinking you're on the beach. Oh no, these balls keep coming in the goal. What are we doing? Get it together, guys.
His own goal 12 times in a row.
Yeah, there you go. Look, if they're only docking Everton and Forest, a handful of points for spending too much, how much can they charge you for letting some goals in easy, right?
I don't know. How could you even say it's corruption? It's strategy. It's a bold strategy, but
that's it.
Yeah.
I
just want to see Luton stay up because it's a fun club to root for.
Yeah, I would have preferred Luton for sure. But I mean, they had their moments to turn up in these past few weeks and just didn't really.
They could have beat Forest twice in a week or whatever it was.
Yeah, and then I saw them go up early against West Ham, and I was like, well, it's not really their position. So,
No.
yeah, it's a bummer that they're. I'm gonna say they're relegated. I'm just gonna put it out there.
It's done.
I'm saying it's done. Luton are going down.
It's probably true, which we both
Yeah.
said at the start of the season. Those three are coming up and probably going right back down.
Yeah, yeah. A bummer for it to be so quick and not have anyone stay up. But we're getting Leicester back, which I think is good. They've always been pretty good competitors up until that last season.
Mm-hmm.
Ipswich we haven't seen, and I mean since I've been following, I've never seen it. I think the last time in the Premier League was quite a long time ago. And then you got either Leeds coming back, which is always exciting. Norwich, which
They were
seen
there
them
not too
a
long
handful
ago.
of times. Yeah. Southampton or
West Brom.
West Brom. Yeah.
Yep.
So I think some good options there. I think I'd be surprised. Huh?
Well, if we look at next year with those promoted teams, whoever it is, I couldn't give you who I think is going to be relegated. Not like this year.
No, yeah, I was just gonna say I'd be surprised if those three that come up go straight back down again, because
sure.
I think there's certainly worse teams still in the Premier League. Forest being one of them.
So way too early predictions.
Okay, let's do it.
Who gets relegated next year?
Okay.
Ooh, man.
I think Forest.
You think Forest?
I'm putting Forest in there.
I would like to see what the Wolves do, but I would be a little nervous for the Wolves.
Mm-hmm. It's fair. I still have question marks around Everton, only because of all the outside noise of this ownership group was going to come in, but like that still hasn't happened. They already docked multiple points this season.
Chad, they're like 10th though if you don't dock their points.
Yeah, that's true, but if there's going to be more charges that come up through something, like
they could be in trouble.
It's hard to predict, but I think Brentford will get back on kind of normal playing terms and be more mid-table than they are this season.
Can I give you a hot take?
Yeah.
If this Man United squad stays the same right now, are they in trouble?
Like relegation trouble, or?
This team sucks, dude.
Yeah.
And how do they get better? Well, they're going to change their coach.
Maybe.
If they don't, man.
It's not official.
I don't know. This team is rough. Watching that Palace game was probably one of the happier moments of the season, and now I'm on the full Palace hype train. I don't feel bad losing to them 1-0 anymore, just because of how potent their attack is. Like, I'm kind of shocked they only scored one on us. Like, truly. If they break up this core three of Eze, Elise, and Mateta this summer, I'm going to be so mad, because I think they're a few pieces away from kind of making that, like, well, the jump into top 10. I really do think it's possible for them, especially how they're riding out the end of this season. They got to stay healthy. That's been a huge issue. But when those three guys are playing, man, it's like one of them is, all three of them are probably going to score. That seems to be the trend.
Yeah, their front three look great.
Their backline's looking nice.
I think they just got to make, I think find some better midfield players. I'd say, and
I like Hughes. I think Hughes is okay. I think you need depth. You need some depth, right?
Depth for sure. I mean, especially cover for Elise. Like the amount of times that guy gets injured, like having him and Eze out there alone was such a big help. And then Mateta kind of gelled with them really well.
So nice.
So if you can find like somewhat level backup for them to kind of keep the flow when and if they get injured, it's they're going to be in uncharted territory up in top 10. Which,
I think it's going to happen. I really do.
I mean, as long as they can hang on to them, I think I don't know if any clubs will come in for Elise. He looks great, but I think his injury record will scare a lot of teams
It was
off.
United. United was kind of the one that was saying they wanted him.
But I mean, United's had so many injury issues this year. I don't know if they want to take a risk like that, but they've been done with their money for years, so they could. I think Eze's maybe the only one that like is most likely to leave. I think Tottenham was looking at him, but again, you got a new coach. You're ending the season on a pretty good high. Their attack is clicking now.
This is the best they've been in the Premier League out of the 10 years they've been there now.
So I don't know. Maybe if you're those guys, you give it one more year. Like,
look at
Eze and Elise and Mateta. Like, I don't think individually they're going to drop off in their skill. So you can probably give it one more year at Palace and see what happens, and then move after that if you want, or hang out and ride Palace higher into the table again. I don't know.
I mean, their last 7 games, they put 2 against City. They lost 4-2. But that's okay. They beat Liverpool, top 10 team. All right, let's go top 7 team at this point. Beat Liverpool, killed West Ham, beat Newcastle, drew Fulham, which honestly, they probably look back at that one and are kicking themselves. Probably should have beat him. Whooped on Man United. Man United, that was probably the worst performance we've seen since the 7-0. Maybe.
Probably.
It's probably up there. Yeah. And then, crushing the Wolves again. Weaker teams they're playing against, but they're also just smashing them, not even giving them a chance.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I like them a lot. I just want to bring them up. We didn't even finish our relegation story, but I just remember a year ago, I was basically like, they're getting relegated. And now I'm on like Team Crystal Palace. Like,
yeah.
Times have changed.
Yeah, I mean, but to get back to your United question, I mean, yeah, if it's the same team, I don't know that they'd be in trouble necessarily. It just really comes down to like if guys can stay healthy, because that's been one of their biggest issues this year. Is their whole back line has almost always been changing, and now you got 36-year-old Johnny Evans or however old he is, and Casemiro, who is a midfielder but already was looking like he didn't want to be there, and now you put him in even more precarious position in the back line, and has proven a couple times already that he's a little more checked out. So yeah, if guys can stay healthy, I think they would be. I don't think they'll get close to relegation. I don't think I'm seeing any signs of them really pushing into Europe, but I
just want to know. I want to know what will happen. They've won 3 games since February 18th. They've beat.
I mean, I was just gonna say it says a lot that this Chelsea team has now jumped ahead of you.
Yeah, it does. A ton. Pretty fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, I think Ten Hag has to go.
Who takes over?
I don't know
who anyone.
Takes over. Yeah, but like, you've given him a couple years now, and you can blame it on injuries. You can blame it on guys not really being bought into the tactics and plan. But like, I don't think I would have seen enough progress in like any area to really point at as like, well, yes, Ten Hag did this, so like things are looking better step by step. Like a lot of their wins have been late McTominay goals, like a dumb luck goal, or just like some of them, yeah, great goals in there, but I don't know. For the history of Man United to be sitting in 8th at this point in the season with still a -4 goal differential is Sir Alex Ferguson is probably up in arms every day when he looks at the table and
Bobby
sees
Charlton, they're falling asleep in the stands watching them.
Exactly.
I would too. It's terrible. We'll see. But I want to give shout. If West Ham sells their guys, I think they got to be careful.
Yeah,
they were a nod this year from us to get relegated, and I think they started out really hot, and of course they faded. After they beat you guys? That's kind of like when the drop off started to happen.
Yeah.
I'd be a little worried about them if they're selling their key dudes. But I think what you said, Everton, Forest, and then I'm giving Wolves and West Ham to be careful, depending on what the new teams look like coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be eyeing those. Brentford coming back if they keep their guys and they're healthy. I'd imagine they'd be safe. I mean, what were they last year? 8th. They just got they were pretty really good. Unlucky this year.
Yeah, they had Tony out for a while. Some big key injuries to Mbumo, Henry, some other guys.
Oh, Mee's been out and Pinnock has been out too. Yeah, they definitely had some bummer of injuries there. Yeah. Huh. It'll be interesting. I'm excited for next season, but at the same time, this one isn't over yet.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on Villa? Still, they're going to make top 4? You're holding to?
Oh, yeah. I think
you think they're going to make it?
They'll make it. I mean, I think Liverpool will beat them. If we don't, that's okay. I guess a victory or any point for them would achieve top 4, right?
What are they at now?
67. So yeah, it would. Oh no, I guess Tottenham could put up 69.
Tottenham
points,
could, yeah, but I mean, yeah. What they got? Liverpool, and then final day. Oh, final day's Crystal Palace.
I know.
So who knows now?
They could be in a little bit of trouble. It wouldn't shock me if Liverpool lose to them tomorrow. Considering what does Liverpool have to play for tomorrow? Like nothing. It's real pride.
Yeah,
it's kind of it. And what Villa's at home. So yeah, maybe Villa. If Villa really wants to put their foot down and say we're making top 4, they should come out tomorrow banging. There should be way more motivation on their side than Liverpool's. But if Liverpool wants to come out strong and show Klopp, we'll go out proud. That's a possibility too. But
yeah, I mean, we kind of said Emery needed to make these games like cup finals, and I mean you're pretty much there without being in a cup final, right? Like you got to win these 2 games to ensure that you're going into Champions League next season.
1 out of 2.
Yeah. So I think they're going to be okay. Like I know their form has kind of been up and down in recent weeks, but yeah, they should have more hunger than Liverpool will.
I would much rather go against Liverpool right now than Crystal Palace if I were them.
Definitely.
Crystal Palace is going to win out. They want to win all these games at the last. I mean, I guess they have 1 game left, but
yeah, but okay. So, I mean, they could make top 10 this season, really. Like if Bournemouth and Brighton stumble.
Who does Brighton got? Brighton has Chelsea and United. Losable.
I mean, Brighton's been pretty rough lately, so
Bournemouth has Chelsea. So wow, wouldn't that be something?
I mean, yeah, I think at that point, if it's hard to say because like when money comes into play, but if I'm, as Elise, Mateta, anyone on that Crystal Palace team that was maybe thinking of looking elsewhere, like I think you see the progress that has happened just from that new manager coming in and ending the season on such a good run. Like, I think you probably ride it out at least through next winter, see what happens. And if you want to try and force a mid-season move, go for it. But I don't know. I mean, yeah, you could make a jump to a Newcastle, a Tottenham, whatever, and kind of jump the table that way. But I don't know. Are you playing every game like you are now? Probably not. Like, Eze and Madison kind of occupy the same role. Elise and Kulusevski kind of occupy the same role. So, which is probably better for Elise to be able to get rest, but I think he wants to play anyway. So, yeah, that'll be interesting to watch. Keep an eye on Crystal Palace. They could finish they could finish pretty nicely here.
I think they should. They should. This is the best they've ever played in Premier League. Stand by it. I'm just clicking.
Yeah.
I'm looking for stats here. If anything crazy happened this weekend. We didn't talk. Holland teased us with a 4-goal performance.
Oh, that's right.
Dang it.
Is this a Holland tease or a Pep tease? Because
Are you
we've
saying
been waiting for that 5-goal game,
right.
but
I don't know. I think that was the game that it probably should have happened. When did Pep pull him? He pulled him at the I guess it was at the 82nd. But then they got a penalty, or not a penalty. Alvarez scored a couple minutes later. So it's like, damn it, could have been it. So close.
Yeah, he almost did it. I've been waiting for that day, but that he gets 5, and then we're like, well, here's your player nomination.
Yeah, congrats. You win it by default.
Yep.
Oh, man, I just want it to be next Sunday. Well, I guess I want it to be Wednesday, Tuesday. They play Tuesday, Tottenham City.
Yeah.
Oh man, 2:00.
Yeah. It's biggest game of the season for Arsenal.
Isn't that crazy? Are you able to watch? Are you gonna be around to watch that game?
Yeah, I'll probably get to watch most of it.
Okay.
So, I'm just relying on the weird juju that Tottenham has over City, and that new stadium especially. Like, I don't know. They just gotta turn up. They gotta at least make it difficult for City. Don't have one of these. Don't have a performance like you did against Chelsea and get 3 red cards and fall apart.
Well, they drew him. They drew him in December.
Mm-hmm.
Son scored early. Oh yeah, that own goal Son had too. That was a bummer.
Yeah.
And then Foden and the difference though for City right now is Vardiol's playing out of his mind.
Dude, he's taken these shots all season, and they've gotten close, but I don't know. He found it now.
He looks
he's
different.
got it down.
Now. He looks different. It's like he's turning into he'll never have the pace of Bale, but his attacking is just reminds me of that left back now, just coming in hot. And the goal he had yesterday, when he was off balance and went onto his right foot to shoot it across body. It's like, what, dude? Are you kidding me? How does City keep getting these guys?
Yeah, they're lucky with that.
It's annoying. And Silva playing great. I was like, I thought you were leaving this team 3 years ago.
Every year he's like, yeah, I'm leaving, and then he's still there, and causing an issue for everyone else.
Balling out. God.
Yeah. This is the summer though. He'll leave this summer.
Barcelona again.
Yeah, we'll see.
Shocking. Dang, man, I feel like our talking points are just so slim now that we have no middle of the table action. I guess we talked a little bit about Champions League and just the quick drama that happened there, because we talked a lot about it online and
yeah, if you're not in the Discord, get in the Discord.
Yeah, good plug here, because I was fed up with that.
Yeah, that was wild.
Okay, we've seen a lot of errors this year, and I know we keep hearing is that the worst one? But Chad, that's close to at least being top 3 worst errors we've seen.
This is
in the football world. You got to call the Diaz one number 1, because he wasn't offside, right? That's number 1.
That's I was trying to place it. I think Diaz number 1. I'd probably put this at number 2, but as close to 1 as you could get without it being. Just because of the ramifications of this now,
Champions League final taken away from Bayern.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm no Bayern homer. I'm not a Madrid homer.
No,
I'm as neutral as can be with those two teams. But Bayern got, I think, robbed so hard.
Yeah, that was I a weird situation because I think the linesman raises his flag once Bayern kind of gets the ball, but he shouldn't have really, because they're supposed to just kind of let it play out and let VAR, pull it back if need be. But then, like, it's so hard to tell, but on rewatches, it looks like, the center ref almost doesn't even wait for the linesman to make a decision and just, like, decides himself, like, as the pass is kind of still in motion, that first pass, and blows it way too early. And, you can maybe argue that affects Madrid's defending if they heard the whistle, but
100%. I think everyone just kind of shut off.
Yeah.
But also Madrid wanted to shut off. Like, you hear that whistle in that point of the game, like, you think that's game like could be game over at that point, right?
Sure.
Because that was at the, gosh, what minute was that at? 11? It was up there.
Very late.
Because they scored in the 90. They scored in the 91st. I think they got +9, and then he gave more time. What's his name? Marcinek. Where that ref's name was.
Dang, I didn't have the time. I was texting my brother about it.
I'm pretty sure. Well, Camavinga got a yellow card at the +10 mark, so I'm pretty sure it happened around the 11th, or what is that, 101?
Mm-hmm.
But dude, that was so. It just was like bang bang, flag whistle, like, and I don't. That's not the linesman's fault that he raised his flag, because the game could have kept going. Mm-hmm. But as soon as that whistle hit, oh, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah,
it's been pounded into all officiating this year is don't blow the whistle early. Mm-hmm. And it's like, we've seen that plenty of times where, like, even players are upset that it's such a clear and obvious offside that the ref will let it go on for almost too long at times. And you see a situation like this, and, like, injury or whatever, like, no one was going to get injured on this play. You can't argue that route.
And then, but even for Champions League, they use the like semi-automated offside line, so it's a quick process anyway. So whether he's raising his flag or not, like, you should just let that play out, and then, if the goal happens, if it goes out for a goal kick, whatever, like, then the semi-automated line comes in, and we can see. I would be very interested to see what it saw, because from all the angles that I've seen, that play should have continued and maybe would have ended in a goal. Well, we're gonna say it would have. I think he was in a good enough position to get that goal.
I really want to. Again, we could be. I'm not trying to be biased, because there is no bias to be had, but I think he would have scored that. There was no one in front of him. I think so. There was no one in front of him, and there was like
great position. Even a great hit on the ball. So it would have taken an incredible save, which could have happened, but I don't think so. I think it was going in, and this game goes extra time, and I don't know. It could have went either way at that point.
Yeah, I don't know who would have won that game. There's no way to tell. I think Madrid had late magic there. A Neuer error gave him some life. It's hard to. I mean, Neuer messed up, but damn, that was a hard hit ball and a weird angle. Yeah. And, like, to catch that cleanly would have taken some magic, which he has. But rough. That was rough. So you can't fault him too much for that, especially off of the saves he was making the rest of that game.
Yeah.
The Davies goal was sick. It was cool story though to have Joselu, is that how you say it?
Yeah, I think so.
I saw a tweet 10 years ago. He was asking to find a Madrid stream on Twitter to watch the game, and then he was at the Champions League final. With his dad a year ago or 2 years ago, whenever that was, and now to be playing for them and bringing them to Champions League, that's pretty sick. That's a cool story.
It's kind of nuts. And I I like that we get the completed Harry Kane run of no trophies, but he gets the golden boot in the Bundesliga, which is a cannon. So a nice little Arsenal reminder in there. But
do you think if he would have went to Leverkusen, Bayern would have won the league? For like alternate realities here.
I mean, look,
same stats. Just give him the same stats.
Same stats. I don't know. He's got some weird curse on him, I think, of just never going to win a trophy, which at the end of the day is not all that's about. He still has a lot of money, a lot of great stats under his belt. Plenty of golden boots and player of the match awards and all that. So he's had a great career, and I think will end probably with the trophy here at some point, especially if he stays at Bayern. But I mean, it's just funny. Like,
it's funny. I think they would have. I think Bayern, if Bayern would have got past Madrid, I think they probably would have beat Dortmund. Just personally,
I think so. Dortmund, I know, has been kind of up and down through the season. But now at this point, Marco Reus has already said he's leaving. Let's send him out with a Champions League win. That would be tight. We'll see.
Dortmund has done decent against Madrid in Champions League.
I think so.
The only history that I can really remember is when Lewandowski put up 5 on him like a decade ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of the one fact that stands out.
I think they may have played each other last season in one of the knockout rounds, and I think Dortmund put up a good fight, but didn't make it through. But I think this Dortmund team
that was 2017
has a pretty good understanding. Was it really? Damn. Has a pretty good understanding of Champions League football and the kind of like oddities of it, and how to change tactically, and like I think it'll be a good final.
Definitely.
I always prefer these finals to be teams that don't already play each other, so I like that as well for not Bayern not getting through. But I think I mean, getting back to what we started with, Bayern completely robbed, and maybe would have been in the final, maybe not, but like to go out on something so controversial, and when everyone watches it back, well, most people when they watch it back can see the mistake is.
The people who don't agree with it, I'm like, what do you see here? And the argument is Delight was offside and interfered with the play, but I'm like, you'd have to really stretch it out to think that or see that, because he interfered with the play. Like, you could say maybe he was blocking the vision of, I guess it would have been Militao or Rudiger who was back there, but come on, like, he wasn't.
That's not only an incredibly harsh call, but one you are not making live play like that, right?
Yep. No way.
So it's a mistake. That's just what it is, and
they apologized for it. Well, at least the linesman did, which is pretty incredible.
Yeah. So I mean, that's the way it goes. Premier League reffing is pretty rough, and we sometimes, I think, look at the other leagues and their refs with like rose-tinted glasses and stuff, but they still make mistakes.
Yeah. Pretty big one.
Yeah.
Pretty big. Well, shoot, man. Champions League Finals, June 1st. We'll be watching that one.
Definitely. Got an FA Cup final before that too, I think.
Oh yeah, that's the Manchester. Was that the 26th? I think it's the weekend before.
Yeah. Oh, 25th, but
25th, okay.
Yeah, so I mean, if United turns up in that and somehow gets a win, maybe Ten Hag does stay.
That's true. That's true. Unless they pull a Mourinho on him and sack him now and then bring someone else in.
Well, I mean, look, yeah, last day of league play is the 19th. So then you say, all right, you're out. And then a week later, you got some interim manager or
What if they bring
no manager,
Mourinho in?
maybe.
Just bring Mourinho. Let's do it. Round 2. He's talked about it. Mourinho's talked about it in the last couple months.
Yeah, yeah. I've been seeing little bits and bobs pop up.
Yeah, that would be something.
I think it'd be interesting, but I think you'd have to let him come in and just like gut the team as he wanted to, because
for sure.
Because what he was already saying that there's still players there that he didn't want when he was there, like
which people have done some research on and trying to figure out who that is. McTominay is one of them. That's a big one, which I'm kind of surprised by. I'm gonna pull up their squad really quick, just kind of. Luke Shaw, I think that's a big one in there. Lindelof and Martial.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think Shaw and McTominay are probably the surprises on that list, but I think you think back to when Mourinho was there, and I don't know that either of those players were performing well enough to.
No, Shaw should have been, which I think his argument was his body wasn't keeping up. Martial, I guess, was playing a lot, but definitely was not doing much. Kind of, I mean, that's kind of he hasn't. Gosh, has Martial scored more than 10 goals in a season since he's been there? Probably not, right?
I don't think so.
There's no way. Mourinho made a comment about their bodies not being able to keep up, and that's another topic someday. We can maybe bring it up, but it would be cool to see him back.
Yeah.
Got anything else in the soccer world?
Still hitting the Sac Republic games.
Okay.
Still alive in the Open Cup. We got San Jose Earthquakes.
Right. When is that?
Next, like 2 weeks actually.
Okay.
Playing them at home, so it'll be our first MLS game this season. So hopefully get through that.
Nice.
Otherwise, team is still undefeated. They just went away to Rhode Island. Actually, it's the first ever time they've played this team in Rhode Island. Played terribly, but they got a draw out of the game. So I think you take that and you come home. But
that's a long travel.
Yeah, for real. So that's moving and grooving.
Nice.
Otherwise, I'm excited for the end of the season, but I'm also looking forward to the end of July when Arsenal come over here for their preseason and see them play United, actually. So maybe Ten Hag will be there, maybe he won't. I'll let you know.
Okay, so we got our Champions League pool coming in. Leverkusen at Atalanta too for Europa final.
Oh yes.
I'll get that email out soon because people can choose their teams now essentially and have it ready to go by the 22nd is when that game is. The little twist in our pool.
Yeah, that should be fun. I think I hope people take advantage of it. Like it's
I'm not sure.
It'll be a good way to make some points back, I think, if you make the right picks. I don't know. But I mean, just speaking on Leverkusen, they're so close to doing the whole thing undefeated and getting this treble, and I so badly want them to.
It'd suck if they lost this game.
Most recent game, they were down 2 goals at the
82nd is when they
82nd minute.
Yeah.
So I was watching like pretty much up until then. I was just watching on my lunch at work and then had to get back to it. So I left at 2 goals down and I got back on. I was like, it sucks. Like I wanted to see them do it and then come back later. And of course they did it. Why did I ever doubt them?
They did it so casually too. It was like, it looked fake how casual they were. Roma was still trying to fight to score, so any type of counter Bayern had, they were just like, this is easy. And their second goal was nice, but at the same time, you just had to get by one guy, and he was free. So I'm curious, if they draw, so say they play Atalanta, and they go to PKs, and they lose PKs, technically they didn't lose in open field, so like it is a loss.
I think for the easiness of like the record, it would probably just be considered a loss. But you could, say that, in
They haven't beat
normal time play.
Yeah, which that's another streak I'm curious about. Is like, does that? I don't know. I hope it doesn't come to that. For their sake, but on a stat tracking wise, I'm like, that would be kind of interesting. Yeah. AFC Columbia, they start our season soon. We have our first home game next weekend. I've officially signed for AFC Como Sunday League. Coming out of retirement for this one.
Whoa.
Talk me into it, man.
Now, you better start stretching now.
Oh, honestly. I've been got my bands out. I'm trying. I got my full leg brace ready to go. It should be okay. I've been putting my legs to the test, and I think I'll be okay.
Okay.
So we'll see. I'm a little nervous. I won't lie. It's a lot of pressure.
Yeah. Oof.
But it will be fun, and to be playing in the scorching 95-degree humidity weather out here on Sunday afternoons. Our first game is next Sunday though, and I will miss it if the league isn't wrapped up by what?
It's fair.
I guess we'll know. I guess we won't know still.
I mean, if City wins against Tottenham, it's probably done.
Let me say, if our game is at 11 a.m. on Sunday, I'm not going.
Yeah, fair enough.
I ain't missing that. No way. Nope. So we'll see. So
nice.
I'll be praying Chad on Tuesday. So hard. Tottenham, please.
Yes.
I think that's what we named this episode. Tottenham, please.
It has to be. We need to put any good Tottenham energy out into the universe and manifest this win.
Tottenham, please. Man.
Just don't be shit this one time.
God. I hope they can do it. I really do. All right, Chad. I think we did good here. Only an hour and 15 minutes for a 2-week catch up, but one more week to go.
Take it.
I think if something magical happens on Tuesday, maybe we do a quick brief chat just to express what Sunday is going to be like this week. But until then, I think we're all Spurs fans.
Exactly.
And we'll leave it at that.
Unfortunately, but yeah.
It is a bit unfortunate, but we'll do it. We can sacrifice one day out of 15 years that we've been truly watching to be Spurs fans. I'll do it.
Yeah.
I'll give in.
Yeah.
All right. With that, Hooligans pitch, we're out. Happy Mother's Day. I'll see you soon.
Peace.